Megagames are designed for events that are outside the scope of, say, inviting people over to do a game night at your house, but are in scope for something like a convention.
I've been to PAX East a couple times, PAX West once. I've always been to PAX to run Megagames.
A tabletop convention in the East is something that just hasn't had like a big presence yet. And what's funny is that PAX East has kind of been that for a long time.
This year at PAX Unplugged is the first time, I think, at any PAX that we've had a dedicated space for Megagames.
And so to cater to tabletop specifically is such an exciting thing to have.
If we had the amount of interest that we had at PAX East and PAX West, okay, that would have been manageable, even with a full schedule. We did not expect the level, the immediate sellout.
And that just took me off guard. I was like, oh, okay, so I guess we'll just start you here, and then all of a sudden the line went all the way down to roll call.
The games have been sold out. The wait lists were full. That's kind of a sense of how different this is. This is crazy. Basically, it's a game that is at a large enough scale where it must be run as an event.
Typically, we send something out 2 weeks ahead of time with not only the game rules, but saying, hey, these are your new friends, get to know each other, figure out what you want to do when you start the game.
Also, it's big enough where you need dedicated staff and facilitators to run the event.
Players will come in and understandably be kind of overwhelmed with the amount of things that are happening.
So explaining what I do with Liveware Lab, that was very enjoyable. As I went to college and started focusing on geopolitics, one of the things I ended up studying was simulations, basically political war games. So instead of guys on a board, moving troops around, it's the Cold War. And it's okay, what is the Russian diplomat going to do?
So we took a crack at it with the American Revolution, which was an amazing experience. Players, they take on the roles of famous historical figures and basically play out the revolution from all aspects. So fighting in wars, going to Congress and passing bills for the colonies, and even a small portion where you're pretending to be a spy in a spy room.
The combination of my academic research into these geopolitical simulations and the board game renaissance that's been happening, that the Megagames is sort of, for me, it's the nexus of that.
It takes a lot of just kind of understanding what the story is at that point in time and where players want to go with it. So when players become creative, you try and cultivate that so that it's not destructive for the other players, but still creatively free for the players that are making that up.
The reception is hugely positive. All the players seem to love it. They picked up the rules very quickly. The games themselves went very well. Couldn't be happier with those.
We've been lucky to be able to work with PAX and bring Unplugged a set of Megagames that I think a lot of people are going to enjoy.
We need bigger rooms. We need to be able to run more games at once, I guess, and maybe next year. But we'll definitely be back because I love putting these things together.